Hey, what's going on everyone? Appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this video. In this one, I got some pretty great news for the Fallout community. Bethesda decided to add their Steel Dawn update into the game today, a week ahead of schedule. And this is a massive update, guys. To put it in perspective, it's a 16 gigabyte download on the Xbox. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty one. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to be going over why Bethesda decided to add this into the game early, and I'm also going to be going over the changes that we'll be seeing within the Steel Dawn update. I'm not going to be covering all the bug fixes though, but I will be briefly going through them in this. I just don't want to read off every single bug fix. But let's just say you can definitely tell Bethesda is trying to improve the quality of life of this game. Because as we know, 76 did have a bumpy start, to say the least. But don't get me wrong, I did have fun still with the game. I actually dedicated my whole channel to this because I became so obsessed with it. But it's cool to see how far the game has come since then. I'll be real with you all though, I have been a little burnt out on playing Fallout. Here lately, whenever I've been logging in, I haven't been having as much fun as I used to. I just like get on the game and tinker around with a camp or something. I feel like I've been honestly forcing myself to play here lately, but I have a feeling with this new update coming into play, there's going to be a whole bunch of new things for me to experience and get engaged in. And I have been avoiding spoilers too, so it's going to feel like a whole new fresh experience. Feels pretty nice, and I have a feeling it's going to help me get back more engaged into the game. Oh, and I almost forgot, I do still have plans to upload another video showcasing 10 more of your guys' spooky camp submissions for those of you that did participate in the camp contest. However, I will mention that I don't have plans at the moment to do another camp contest anytime soon. For one, I didn't realize how big the Fallout 76 camp community was. Sheesh! There were so many submissions, so many great submissions, to say the least, too. Like, seriously, I could easily show off 30 or 40 more camps if I wanted to, but I have other projects in mind that I want to get out there to the community. And I feel like I would be, investing a lot of my time into these camp projects if I did decide to continue to roll with this. But yeah, I do appreciate all of you guys taking the time to submit a camp. It felt pretty good bringing the Fallout 76 community together. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into all of these changes now. There's a lot to go over. First off, let's get into why they decided to add this update early. And the reason why that is, as you can see here in this post from Bethesda, it stated that Steel Dawn arrives early for the holidays. And the reason why is because, well, what they stated here. Earlier today, there was an error that caused players in our Xbox community to download the Steel Dawn update ahead of schedule, but prevented them from actually playing. We immediately investigated ways to get our Xbox players back in game as soon as possible. But through our discussions, the entire BGS team felt confident that Steel Dawn is ready to go. Which I think that's nice. At least they thought that it was well polished enough to release. We've experienced in the past where Bethesda has delayed their projects. For good reasons though, they didn't think it was polished enough. But this time, they thought it was good enough. So that's good to know that they made that statement. But yeah, as you can see, as a result, instead of rolling back the update and making everyone wait another week, we've decided to release the Steel Dawn update on all platforms today, November 24th. So yeah, they also said we are scheduled to begin maintenance for all platforms at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we expect 76 to be offline for around 6 hours. When maintenance is over, you'll be able to get started with the Steel Dawn questline, your first camp shelter, and everything else this update contains. We'd like to apologize to Xbox players for any confusion in today's issue caused, but we hope that everyone in the Fallout 76 community is as excited as we are to dive into Steel Dawn ahead of schedule. Thank you very much. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, we hope all of you have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you at Fort Atlas. And I am very thankful that they did add this in early because, like I mentioned before, I've been a little burnt out in the game and I have been waiting on this update to come to hopefully get myself back involved into 76 more. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out their other post that they made. This is about all of the changes. I'm actually going to turn off my camera while I go over all these just because I don't want my camera blocking some of the text that they left in this. So yeah. Today marks the release of our Steel Dawn update, and with it, the return of Brotherhood of Steel to Appalachia. Take on the Steel Dawn questline, meet new characters, explore new locations, and lay claim to some new rewards. This update also introduces the Camp Shelters feature, hunger and thirst improvements, and much more. Read on to catch the patch notes. So starting off here with the update highlight, we got the Ad Victorium bullet. The Brotherhood of Steel is back. Explore the first chapter of their story, meet new characters, visit new and updated locations, and unlock rewards as you experience the all-new Steel Dawn questline. Cool. Next bullet says head underground. Flex those creative muscles by building out your very own instanced interiors with our first 3 camp shelters. So it seems like they have plans to roll out more camp shelters. Anyways, next bullet says gear up. Complete Steel Dawn quests and take daily ops to earn new weapons and armor that are straight from the Brotherhood arsenal. Next bullet says, don't just survive, thrive. We removed all negative effects from hunger and thirst. Instead, you'll receive buffs that increase based on how well fed and hydrated you are. And then lastly, we have Save Those Atoms, coming December 1st. Already have some of the items in an Atomic Shop bundle? No problem. Bundle prices now lower automatically if you already own any items they contain. That's pretty cool. Because there has been instances where I've came across that, where I have some of the items, but I don't have the whole bundle. Because I didn't really give in to the bundle. I feel like that's a good thing that they added that. Anyways, next up here, we have the download sizes. They're pretty hefty, like I mentioned before, for Xbox. Let's just start there. Xbox One, we have a 16 gigabyte download. PlayStation 4, we have a 15.2 gigabyte download. PC on Steam, we have an 8.8 gigabyte download. On Microsoft Store, we have a 16.4 gigabyte download. What? Sheesh. And on Bethesda.net, we have an 8.3 gigabyte download. Okay, so yeah. Once again, a pretty massive update here. Definitely a lot of changes. Alright, so next up here we got the new Steel Dawn questline. The Brotherhood of Steel has returned to Appalachia on a mission to reclaim the region for humanity. To preserve any tech they can find and to find out what befell Paladin Taggarty and her crew, starting today, you can begin your journey with the Brotherhood of Steel and work toward a brighter future for Appalachia in the all-new Steel Dawn questline. So it says here, complete new quests. Meet the new Brotherhood arrivals and begin your journey through the Steel Dawn questline by heading to Fort Atlas, formerly Atlas Observatory, in the Savage Divide region of Appalachia. Your level 20 and higher characters can begin the Steel Dawn quest immediately, even if you haven't completed any prior Fallout 76 quest content. Alright, so that's pretty good to know. Anyways, when you log in with an eligible character, a quest called Welcome to the Neighborhood will prompt you to visit Fort Atlas. And please note, you can now fast travel to Fort Atlas for free. However, if you had already discovered Atlas Observatory before today's update, its icon will no longer be visible on your map. You will need to revisit the area to discover Fort Atlas, which will cause its map marker to appear. Okay, so that is really good to know right there. So we're going to have to actually go to the location again to get it to appear on the map. Same with all the other new locations too around the game, of course. Anyways, next up here we got meet new faces. Get acquainted with new characters like Paladin Romani, Knight Shin, Scribe Valdez, and many others who have arrived in Appalachia with the Steel Dawn update. Anyways, explore new locations. We've added several new locations and updated a number of existing ones that you'll delve into during your journey with the Brotherhood. Great, so more things to discover, and it seems like we're going to be discovering a lot of new locations just playing the questline, so that's good to know too. Gear up with new rewards. Progress through the Steel Dawn new questline and complete daily ops to earn a host of cosmetic, camp, and item rewards, including the following new weapons and armor straight from the Brotherhood arsenal. We had to choose from the Crusader pistol, the Plasma Cutter, the Hellstorm missile launcher, Brotherhood recon armor, and you can also purchase a variety of mods for these new items from Regs and Vault 79 using gold bullion, including mods that can alter each weapon to deal various types of elemental damage. Okay, so I'm assuming this is going to be like the Warglaive that we can get from the daily ops. When we get the modification that we can get with gold bullion, it's going to totally change up the way these weapons look, I'm assuming, with each modification. But anyways, lastly, it states here, main menu updates too. The Brotherhood has taken over the game's main menu with an all-new background video and music. Which, by the way, I can show what that looks like right now currently. As you can see, however, the game is currently offline, though. It's still being updated into the game. But yeah, this is what the main menu looks like. So yeah, that's something that I can show at the moment. Anyways, next up here, we have the camp shelters. Head underground with camp shelters, which are instance interiors that you can add to your camp and customize to flex your creativity as a builder. We've added a brief new quest called Home Expansion to the game that all players must complete in order to gain access to the camp shelters feature. Oh, that's awesome. They actually added a quest to do to get these. I think that's a pretty neat way to introduce them. Anyways, it goes on and states here, begin the Home Expansion quest by reading a shelters claim sensor poster in train stations throughout Appalachia, or find your way inside the claim center by locating a key in the northern forest region. Yeah, I'm just going to go to the train station because I don't know where I'm at exactly at the moment. Anyways, with today's update, we are introducing our first 3 camp shelters, which each offer a different size space to build in and feature their own layouts and styles. Okay, neat. So they have like themed camp shelters. That's cool. Vault Utility Room seems to be the name of one of them. After completing the home expansion quest, all players can claim the Vault Utility Room for free in the Atomic Shop. Please note, since we decided to release Steel Dawn early, only the Vault Utility Room will be available on November 24th. The Vault Lobby and Atrium described below will arrive at a later date. Anyways, Vault Lobby. Fallout First members can claim the medium-sized shelter this month in the Fallout First section of the Atomic Shop. In the future, it will be available to all players for atoms. And next up here we have the Vault Atrium, the largest of our first 3 shelters. The Vault Atrium can be purchased using atoms. I don't really know how I feel about that at the moment. Hopefully they don't make this a huge Atomic Shop thing. Hopefully there's other ways to earn other shelters, because atoms are more difficult to get a hold of. But who knows, maybe they'll make it so they're a bit easier to get, or maybe they'll just add more rewards for us that include atom points within the scoreboard or something. I don't know about that right now, how I feel. But anyways, going on. Once you claim the camp shelter, you can access its interior by building the associated shelter entrance in your camp. Your camp can contain one of each type of shelter that you own, and you can build multiple entrances to the same shelter. Find your available shelter entrances by scrolling to the New Shelters category in the Camp Build menu. Select the entrance you'd like to build and then head inside. Okay. Seems easy enough. Every shelter has its own build budget that is separate from your main camp, as well as any other shelters you've built. Oh, that is awesome. That is really smart. That's going to make it so less players will use, the budget glitch. So anyways, yeah, it goes on and says here, your shelter interiors will be saved as you build, so you won't lose anything if you relocate your camp. What? Or if you move your shelter entrance, or if your entrances get destroyed. Okay, that's cool. I didn't expect the shelters to not lose everything when you move them. That's neat. Anyway, since they are instant shelters, they are able to offer sizable build budgets. Currently, each of our first 3 shelters have larger budgets than your main camp. Awesome. So that means even the one that we can obtain without atoms is going to be bigger than our main camp budget. That's good to know. The next bullet says, we've relaxed certain build restrictions inside shelters by introducing a toggle snapping option that you can turn off to place objects anywhere you'd like, or turn on to snap objects to each other or the build grid. Okay, so this is great. Like for one example, I have, blueprinted posts before so I could place them in the center of a foundation instead of them automatically snapping to the side of the foundation. Some of you may know what I'm talking about, the posts that you can get in the staircase category. So that's going to be neat. I'm going to turn off the snapping whenever I'm trying to get them to place somewhere besides just the side of foundations or whatever. Anyways, it goes on and states here, additionally, use the shelter control panel inside of each camp shelter to quickly scrap or repair everything you've built so far. Okay, I was just talking about this in a live stream a while back because I was deleting everything in a camp, and someone had mentioned it'd be nice if we could have a delete all option, and bada bing bada boom, look at that. It was already on Bethesda's radar of adding that into the game. Sweet, because it can take some time to delete everything. Anyways, next up here we got the design updates. Dynamic bundle pricing. Okay, so please note, since we decided to release Steel Dawn early, dynamic bundles will not be available until our original patch date of December 1st. A common suggestion that we received from players who use the Atomic Shop has been to reduce bundle prices for players who already own some of the items they contain. With today's update, we've added pricing tech that will do just that. Going forward, if you own one or more items in the bundle, its add-on price will automatically reduce accordingly. The more items you already have, the lower your adjusted price will be. Bundles that have been adjusted this way will now display your price versus the original price as well, and items you already own will be marked in each bundle's description. We've also added a new bundles category to the left-hand side of the Atomic Shop menu so that you can more easily find all of the bundles that are currently available without having to hunt for them on multiple pages. Okay, so, I think this is a good thing, and I can totally understand why Bethesda wants to keep fine-tuning the Atomic Shop. It is something that does bring them in quite a bit of money after all. Anyways, going on, it states here, additional Atomic Shop updates. Backpack flares. Add even more personality to your characters with a backpack flare. We've added 2 backpack flare slots to the modify menu for backpacks that you can use to add cosmetic flare. Going forward, keep an eye out for different backpack flares that you can unlock in the Atomic Shop, claim from season scoreboards, or earn as rewards in game. Okay, so that's awesome. They're not only coming from the Atomic Shop. That's great to know right there. Backpacks you crafted prior to the Steel Dawn update will not have backpack flare mod slots. Craft new versions of your backpacks to cause the backpack flare slots to appear. Okay, so that's something also to keep in mind. If you don't have a backpack flare mod slot available, it's just because you haven't crafted a new one. It also says, please note, while the backpack flare system is live as of November 24th, flares themselves are not yet available. We will let you know as soon as we add them on a later date. Okay, well, just retract what I just said right here about, you just got to add the flare mod slot, because they're not going to be even in the game quite yet. Bethesda has plans to release them later on. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. Anyways, next up here, they get into Fallout First. Items that have special discounts for Fallout First members will now appear in the Fallout First section of the Atomic Shop while they are on sale. These items will now also display a Fallout First icon, both in the Fallout First category and in their appropriate subcategories in the Atomic Shop. Anyways, next up, they go over to lunchboxes. In addition to earning lunchbox rewards from Season Scoreboard or by buying them from the gold bullion in game, you can now purchase them for items in the Atomic Shop. Please note, since we did decide to release Steel Dawn early, lunchboxes will not be available in the shop until our original patch date of December 1st. Lunchbox buff descriptions and the chances to receive each buff have been added to the lunchboxes section of the help menu. Okay, so that's interesting. Lunchboxes in the past were data mined, so players did expect them to eventually become in the Atomic Shop. It was something that was talked about in the past anyways. Guess they're finally here. Anyways, going on here, we have the Daily Ops updates. First off, there will be new items. They've added a number of new rare rewards that you can earn by completing Daily Ops. They include plans to craft Brotherhood Recon Armor, the Crusader Pistol, Plasma Cutter, and Hellstorm Missile Launcher. Awesome, so more reasons to grind the Daily Ops again. Next up, the plan rewards say goodbye to duplicate plans, non-tradable item plans that can be awarded by Daily Ops, like the Warglaive plan, will no longer continue to drop as rewards after you've learned them. This is going to save so many players so much time grinding. I feel like this was a really smart move from Bethesda. Definitely helps players save more time instead of waste more. Anyways, next up here we have mutations and enemies. To help keep Daily Ops feeling fresh, each day we've made an adjustment to prevent the same enemy, mutation, and faction from appearing 2 days in a row. So overall, these are some great improvements to Daily Ops. Gives us more of a reason to grind, and they got things feeling fresh for us each time we go in. So that's also good. Anyways, next up here is the Hunger and Thirst updates. I've heard some mixed feelings about this from players, but yeah, here's the update. We agree with feedback from the community that our Hunger and Thirst mechanics could feel a little too punishing. We've decided to remove the negative effects when you're hungry or thirsty and buff up the bonuses you receive when you're fed and hydrated. Going forward, your action points, health, and disease resistance will no longer be negatively affected when you haven't had anything to eat or drink. Instead, you will receive buffs that increase depending on how full your hunger and thirst meters are. So there's no longer penalties, there's just buffs. That, in my opinion, isn't too bad. I feel like that's something that can keep both players satisfied, Eating and drinking does still benefit us in some kind of way. So hunger gains us plus 15 max hit points when partially fed, and up to plus 35 max hit points, plus 35% disease resist, and plus 1 strength when fully fed. And for thirst, you gain plus 15% action point regeneration when partially hydrated, up to plus 35% action point regeneration, plus 35% disease resistance, and plus 1 endurance when fully hydrated. So I don't know. Overall, I feel like that isn't too bad. At least, they're keeping it so there's a reason to eat and drink in the game. They didn't totally take it out. Next up here is a PvP update they did. It says here, Pacifist Mode. When Pacifist Mode becomes available to new characters at level 5, it will now be toggled on by default. Okay, I agree with this because for the most part, players aren't PvPing at level 5. I mean, yeah, there are some players out there that can pull it off, but for the majority, players aren't PvPing at level 5. Maybe at level 30 or something, you might see a player getting into PvP a little. But yeah, I feel like this was a smart move from Bethesda. It makes it so players that aren't really wanting to PvP don't have to. Because there's a lot of players out there that may not even know how to toggle Pacifist Mode on and off, especially if they're that low of a level. Anyways, next up here we have a user interface update with the map. They added a fast travel point and map marker for Vault 51. That's interesting. I wonder if they're hinting at Vault 51 maybe coming soon in the future. Who knows? So yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there are loads and loads of bug fixes. Now I could, just sit here and read off all of these fixes, but I'm not going to. If you want to further investigate all the bug squashes, I'll leave a link in the description to this post, because I don't know, I just feel like it'll just drag this video on for a while if I read off every single one of their fixes, but I will read off a few. For instance, starting here with the allies. They made it so players can once again receive daily quests from the Settler Forager ally. Next up, they go over some art and graphic fixes, such as like the human NPCs that have both legs crippled no longer appear to fall down and then immediately stand back up. Instead, they will remain standing, but they will remain immobile until one leg is healed. Anyways, they had plenty of camp and workshop updates too. For instance, grass and small plants are once again visually removed when placing foundations and other large camp objects on top of them. Awesome, because I've been running into that here lately, and I was wondering if it was just because of the area, but it seems like it was actually a bug. That's good to know. They also fixed like the budget exploit related to wires. Not exactly sure what that was, but it was a budget glitch, and well, now it's out of the game. They addressed an item exploit related to collectron stations. Rocket rides can no longer be placed clipping into other objects. Super reactor now scraps into aluminum, copper, and rubber instead of just rubber. I mean, I don't know. As you can see, there's just loads of fixes here. Glad to see they're still being consistent on squashing out this many bugs out of the game with each like major update they release. But yeah, I guess that's wrapping up this video, everyone. Hopefully you found this news as exciting as I did. I did not expect this to come out early. Heck, I still can't even play it right now while I'm going over this news to you guys. Super excited to get into all of this. But yeah, I'm out of here, everyone. Thanks for taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.